So shall show all thy work. I love math.
Hey, this is Mr. N going over the diagnostic test. Question number 1, f of x is equal to, this is incorrect, I'm going to change it. It is 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. The f of negative 1 means that you are putting in to x values negative 1. Negative 1 there. So I have negative 1 squared times 3 plus 2 times negative 1 minus 5. Did you notice I put those in parentheses? And then we're going to use PEMDAS here. Negative 1 squared is 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 minus 5. And then I have 3 minus 2 minus 5. And this is 1 minus 5, which is negative 4 is my answer. Question number 2, simplify the expression. You'll notice that there is no parentheses, so I am just using addition and subtraction. This is like terms. I'm going to color code these to show which ones are like terms. And all I have to do is look at the number in front, which is 7 and negative 5. 7 minus 5 is going to be 2. 2x squared is the correct one there, so not these. We can do the constants. Negative 6 plus 7 is going to be a positive 1, so those match. It does match on these, but we talked about how this is incorrect. Okay, and 1x, so 1 and 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. This would be letter choice A is the correct answer. Number 3, which graph represents the solution to the inequality? The first thing you want to do is change this one to an equal sign. So you have x plus 6 equals negative 9. And basically you're solving this, so you're going to do the opposites here. And you do that, so this equals 0. X equals negative 15. Well, you go back to that inequality sign and put it back here. And basically what this means, the inequality sign only flips if you, inequality sign flips if you divide or multiply by negative. Because basically what it does is you're doing the opposites. So you're going to negative 15, which they all have. This means you're going to have a closed circle. So B and D, A and C are incorrect because those are open circles. And this is read as numbers that are smaller than or equal to negative 15. Numbers are smaller. Smaller numbers are on the left, larger numbers are on the right. So this would be choice B is our correct answer. This only works, this trick, if the inequality or the x is on the left side, then the arrow is pointing to the left, and you'll notice my graph is pointing towards the left. Question number 4 tells me to calculate the slope. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to graph this negative 4. I guess I should have moved it. Negative 4, so x on the y, so left 4, and then up 7. That's this point. This point in green, right 1, and then down 7. So that is this point. Okay, from here, I'm going to create a triangle. And the reason why I created this triangle is you can see that this is called our rise. Rise goes up or down. And this is my run, which goes left or right. So slope is equal to rise over run. So my rise is -4 over my run. Sorry, the rise is not -4. This here is -7, and this is +7. So that would be a distance of 14. The run is from -4 to here and then 1. So if you add those together, it's a distance or absolute value of 5. And you'll notice that if you are going down, that would be a -14, and then you're doing a run of 5. So -14 over 5 is your answer, and that would be choice D. Question number 5, what is the equation of the graph? You'll notice that all of these equations have no parentheses. Oops. No parentheses. If it has 2 parentheses, that's going to be something called point-slope form. If it has 1 set of parentheses, then you might have, they call it kind of like a vertex form. Okay. So, first thing is you start from the left side to the right side to determine its slope. So we have y equals mx plus b, and the number in front of x is the slope. And you'll notice from left to right, this ball, this blueberry, is rolling down. So you have negative slope, which all of these have, okay? And to determine the slope, which you just did in the last problem, you just want to pick a point. So here is a good one. So here's my triangle. So this is my rise. So this is a rise of -1. It's going from +1 to 0, and you're going down, so that's -1. So slope, rise over run, and then you have a distance of 1, 2, 3. So you're going to a run that is 3. So my slope is -1/3. So you have that slope in 2 choices here. Now the last part is the y-intercept. My y-intercept is 1. So the only one that has both of those is choice D. This is the equation, -1/3 slope and a +1 y-intercept for question number 5. Alright, question number 6, describe the relationship between the 2 lines. Okay, if they were the same, all of the numbers would be exactly the same, so that's not the case. If they were parallel, then the slopes, M1, slope of the first line, the slope of the second line would have been the same, and that's not the case, so they're not parallel. Okay, perpendicular means that the slope of the first one is the negative reciprocal of the second one. Okay, so watch what happens. So if it is 2, and if I did something like this, this would test if they were perpendicular. And it's not a negative. You'll see there's no negative, so this is not perpendicular. So if it was a correct one, it would have been something like this. These 2 equations it doesn't matter what they have for their y-intercept, they would have been perpendicular. So the answer for this one is A. And if you graphed it, you would recognize that they're intersecting. Let me do that really quickly. -3 up to right 1, your graph's going to look something like that. And then let's do this one, +3 up here, and then they would have something like a slur pitched. And you'll see that the lines eventually would intersect something up there. Alright, number 7. You're given this equation, which equation is the same as above in slope-intercept form. So we just went over a slope-intercept form, and you'll notice that the y is by itself. And so basically I just need to distribute the 1/3. So I have 1/3 x times 1/3 times -9. And we have this. So I have 1/3 x. This becomes -9/3. You just multiply across, and you can reduce that to -3. And then you just subtract 5 from both sides, and you'll get 1/3 x minus 8, which is choice D. Question number 8. Which equation has a slope? So going back to slope, this is your m value. Now, this one gives me a point, not the y-intercept. So we're going to call this x1, y1. And I'll be honest, I totally forgot the point slope form, so I'm going to show you how I remember it. You have the slope of two lines is the difference of the y's over the difference of x's. And if I multiply both sides this way, so you would have m times x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, and then if you go and erase the 2's, this is called point slope form. It is when you have the point and the slope, which we just had. So my slope is going to be -2/7. The x value will stay, and the y value will stay. The x1 value that we had from above is 5, and the y1 value is -6. Okay, pay attention there. So this is going to be simplified as y plus 6 and -2/7 x minus 5. And that would be choice y plus 6, -2/7 x minus 5, it would be choice C. Alright, question number 9. What is the value of t? So when you're multiplying with the same base, you add the exponents. Multiply, same base, so same variable or number, you're going to add the exponents. So in this case, it's t, I'm going to do capital T, plus 5 equals 15. Subtract, and you'll get t equals 10, which would be choice C. Question number 10, that's the same principle here that I'm applying. You're multiplying the same base, you can add the exponents, so you'll just get 3, 0 plus -2, so you get 3, -2. Now, another property of exponents is that anything to the 0 power is equal to 1. So it'd be 1 times anything, or an identity, so you just have 3 over -2. You're going to put that over 1. You're basically going to move this downstairs and you take off the negative, so you're going to have 1 over 3 squared, which is 1/9. That would be your answer. Question number 11, how do you simplify the square root of 45? You're going to break it down into the prime factorization, so square root of 9 is 3. That stays on the outside. On the inside is the 5, so your answer is C. This video is brought to you by Delicious Math. Math is always delicious. Alright, how do you expand this expression? The temptation is to take the power of 2 and to distribute, and that's incorrect. That is not the law, the power rule of exponent. So this power of 2 just tells you have 2 quantities, 2 pairs of Jordan shoes in the shopping cart. So you can use FOIL, or I teach my students something called the box method or area model. 5x minus 6, 5x minus 6. We're going to multiply first, and then second we're going to add. 5 times 5 is 25. X times x is x squared. Remember, that's the same idea that we just talked about. Multiply the same base, you can add the exponents. That would become negative 30x, and 36. Okay, so if we 25x squared, which all of them have, and then I'm going to combine like terms, so we're going to add those to be negative 60x and then plus 36. That means your answer is A for that problem. Number 13, which equation has the roots of negative 3 and 5? This is quadratics in factored form, so x equals negative 3 and x equals 5. So what you can do is you just put this into quadratic factored form, so y equals a times x minus p, x minus q, and so those values are just going there and there. You don't need the a values, so y equals x minus 3. Pay attention there, x minus 5, so that becomes x plus 3, x minus 5, and that would be choice D. Number 14 looks like to be a linear. You're just going to solve it. Distribute 12x plus 6 equals 18, or you could have divided by 6 on both sides, probably would have been smarter. Subtract 6, divide by 12, x is equal to 1. Number 15, f of x equals 3x plus 2. So in this function notation, you're actually going to start on the inside first. So the first thing we're going to do is find g of 5. What is g of 5? We're going to put it in here. That basically just says, kind of showed you before, every x value is going to become 5. So let's do that. Well, that means g of 5 equals 3. That's an order pair, 5, comma 3. And then now that I have 3, I'm going to put that into now f. So g of 5 is equal to 3. Now we're basically finding f of 3. So if I put that into the top one, x is equal to 3. And so 9 plus 10 gives us 19. Answer is D. Okay, number 16. I'm going to put H. Basically, more importantly, this part, for every x value, we're going to put into the g part. So basically, we're putting in here 3x minus 1, 3 times 3x minus 1 plus 4, and we're just going to distribute 9x minus 3 plus 4. Combine like terms, you're going to get 9x plus 1, choice D. Solve the inequality. Subtract 5. Okay, that's what we talked about previously. Now we are dividing by negative, so the inequality sign will flip. X is greater than negative 5. And that'll be choice A. Okay, number 18 is a quadratics. We want a graph. I'm going to factor out a -1 and just see what happens. Okay, something I notice is that doesn't look to be factorable. So let's just take apart the characteristics. This one is a negative, so look for a negative person who, so that would be choices A and B, not C and D. The second one is, this last one is a y-intercept. So, bit hard to see. I think they're pretty close to a 3. So, I'm going to apply the quadratic formula. A is -1, B is -6, and C is 3. X equals negative B plus or minus the square root B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Alright, X equals -6 plus or minus -6 squared. And when I'm putting it into a variable, remember you're using your parentheses. A value is -1, C value is 3. And you can always expand the house all over 2 times -1. So I have 6 plus or minus 36, -4 plus 12 over -2. Square root of 48 over -2. And if you put into your calculator these two values, the square root of 48, 6.92, so 6 plus or minus 6.92 over -2. If I add the two values together, you'll get like 12, and then you'll get a negative number, so like -6, something like that. And then if I subtract them, I'll probably get something like -1, and you'll get something like 1/2. So -6 would be on this side, and then the positive 1/2 would be on this side. So my answer is going to be B. All right, let's go over question number 19. This is linear, and you can just draw a line down the equal sign. You're doing opposites to combine like terms. And you could do this. Nope. If I'm moving it that way, let's just look at what it looks like. That's 0. And then I'm going to subtract the 3. So D is our answer. Number 20, what is the solution set of this? This is called an argument. And the bars here are absolute values. So for absolute values, let's call the middle inside a smiley face. That means it could have been a positive smiley face or a negative smiley face equals, that's a smiley face, 7. So
Class A, your answers are supposed to be on your paper.
the application
That's why you did 1 through 6. Numbers 1
is or equal to a positive 7 and
12, because your answer is on the bottom.
a negative.
13 through 18 is the top right.
So when I solve this, I don't need the parentheses,
You have to guess, you have to guess.
and then divide by 3, x is equal to 3. Over here, you have a second solution, so you can distribute the -1 or divide by -1. So 3x minus 2 equals -7.
Holding your hands.
Add 2, and then divide by 3. So this one and this one. So A would be your correct answer. Number 20 was the measure of angle x. So remember a line, so we did a circle, it's 360, so half of a circle is 180. So you add these up.
Calculator, yes.
And then I'm just going to combine like terms. So 110, 155. And just subtract 155 from both sides and you'll get 25. So if you put in 25 there, you guys make some number sense here, add them all up, and you should get 180 degrees. 22, they're asking you for tangent of A starting here. The trig ratios, you stub your toe, and we call it SOHCAHTOA. And so tangent would be this one. Well, from A, you would label the side. So going across, this one is called opposite. Across the right angle is called the longest side, which is called hypotenuse, and the one next to it is called the adjacent. So for tangent of A would be the opposite over the adjacent. The opposite is 16 and the adjacent is 12. This would be B. They want us to solve for x. So from here, I'm starting at 45 degrees. I'm going across. I have the opposite. I have the hypotenuse. Go back up here. You have sine. So sine of 45 degrees equals the opposite over the hypotenuse. The opposite side is 13. And the hypotenuse is x. Put in sine of 45 into your calculator. I'm going to do it by using the unit circle. This is an advanced method. Radical 2 over 2. You can cross multiply and divide by radical 2. You can do something like, I think, we have sine of 45 is 13 over x. That would be choice C.
My day-to-day life is under attack by statistics that I gotta grab. Can't forget about algebra and memorize tax, so I love this math class.